Terence, what'd you think, man?
Just they have it. Yeah. From the jump, you could tell that his balance was off. He was reaching. You know, just they have it tonight.
You know, do you think it was a layoff? Do you think it was a combination of things? Like, what do you think?
Probably all of it.
All of it? Yeah.
He didn't take the punches well. He was slow. Like, you could just tell that Tim was more fresher.
Was it hard for you to watch?
Kinda. You know, I really wanted him to do real well. He did what he had to do to finish the fight, though. You know.
Hopefully he comes over here.
On you, Errol. All the best, Errol. You're a legend, mate. God bless.
It looks like Spence is electing to give him this round. Another jab by Tszyu. As Spence backpedals on a good right hand.
Oh.
And inside, that looks like that was a shot. That might have been a...
The kids will be so proud of you, man. Yeah. This is what it's all about, man. Now you can concentrate on your family, your kids, whatever they want to do, hey. Whatever they want to do, then, you know, you have to support them. You know, let them live their life and be who they want to be. And that's the most important thing right now is you being happy, man, taking care of your family. You know how to take care of your family, man.
Oh, yeah.
Those are your family's proud of you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let them do what they want to be, but
No, no. I mean, but at the same time, you know.
you know, it was a tough fight, a long fight, you know, but you know, it was cool. You know, was able to go 12 rounds and you know, I finished the fight. So it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. So, you know, much respect to Tim. He's what I expected. I mean, he's what I expected.
What did he do really well?
He was timing real well, and my timing was kind of off.
Was that the 3 years off, or was?
I mean, it could be. I mean, I'm not gonna use that as an excuse, you know. Tim did the same tonight. You know, we in an era where people are scared to fail. We're in an era where everything's on social media, everything's getting recorded, and, you know, people are scared to jump out and do things and dare to do stuff because they're scared that it's gonna get posted and people laugh at you and things like that. But the same people who laugh and make funny jokes on social media and stuff never really done anything with their life. So, you know, that's where it's at, because I'm sure, you know, people have things to say and this and that, but I'm sure they wouldn't have the guts to do what I did, you know, come back and fight a quality opponent like Tim Tszyu in his backyard and go a whole turn around and put on a great show.
Before Errol Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu ever touched gloves in Sydney, the boxing world spent weeks dissecting one of the most unpredictable matchups in recent memory. A former unified champion returning from a 3-year layoff against an Australian fan favorite looking to rebuild his own career. Almost nobody agreed on how it would go, and the range of opinions from trainers, analysts, and fellow fighters told the story of just how much uncertainty surrounded both men. Roy Jones Jr., speaking from his Dallas gym, was among the most confident voices backing Spence. Jones praised Spence's recent interview with Andre Ward as honest and refreshingly free of excuses, rejecting the idea that Spence's 3-year silence was some kind of manufactured justification.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a great interview. I thought Andre did it at the right time. I thought Andre asked a lot of the right questions. I thought Earl gave the right answers. You know, he just told it like it was. So it's like, you can't get mad at a guy for speaking his mind or speaking the truth from his side. I'm sure there's two sides to every story, but he spoke his side. I never thought or saw Earl as a person that does not try to tell the truth.
Right.
So I can't see him lying on anybody, so what he said is true. And like Andre said, maybe you should have spoke up too, but You know, it is what it is. It's water under the bridge. I don't think he was trying to make an excuse. It's been 3 years. We ain't heard nothing. He ain't heard him say nothing about nothing. You understand me? So I don't buy the part where people say he's trying to make an excuse. No, I don't buy that. He just telling the truth. He's not trying to make an excuse. He never said that for 3 years. So while he wait 3 years, I don't buy that.
Right, and if he doesn't tell you about the training,
he ain't telling you the truth.
Right. No, that's why he's called the truth. But yeah, I didn't look at it in that way. And
not at all.
Good advice. Don't listen to the 10%ers.
Jones broke down Spence's identity as a fighter built on relentless pressure, comparing him directly to Marvin Hagler, someone who didn't need technical perfection because his pressure simply burst pipe.
I mean, can you glean anything from that?
Not at all, because Earl's a pressure fighter. Earl's the type of guy, he don't have to do things 100% right, because part of his game is just to bulldog you when you down. When you bulldog and wear him down, you're not fighting at the top, not fighting like a Terence Crawford. He's gonna bulldog and wear most of them down. Look what he did so far. Only person he lost to was Bud.
Right.
Because Bud you gonna bulldog Bud. I'm sorry, but everybody else, if he can bulldog you and wear you down, he gonna do it. So it's like you see little things here, little things there, but at the same time, because you know what kind of fighter he is, his pinnacle ain't the same as other people.
Critically, Jones predicted that if Spence could survive Tszyu's expected fast start through the first 4 or 5 rounds, he'd become nearly impossible to beat from round 6 onward, pointing to his history against Eudenis Ugas, Kell Brook, and Sean Porter as proof he grows stronger as fights progress.
It's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, it's going to be a slugfest.
It's going to be a slugfest. Who are you picking in the fight?
Man, it's a hard call, but I'm going with Errol. Earl can withstand the onslaught that Tszyu gonna probably put up early, because if you get past 4 or 5 rounds, Errol definitely gonna beat him, because Errol, to me, is stronger later than anybody fight. You get him past round 6, and you got problems in your hands.
Sebastian Fundora, speaking around the same time, also picked Spence, though for a different reason. He argued Tszyu's decision to reunite with Cuban-trained coaching wasn't going to suit his natural come-forward style, and specifically cited Tszyu's brutal knockout loss to Bakr Murtazalev as a major concern, given how much time Tszyu had spent out of the ring compared to Spence's continued training regimen.
My heart and my head kind of go together, so I'm favoring Tszyu because of the time layoff for Spence. You know, I mean, he's a great fighter, and I've been keeping up with social media to see how he's been looking with the mids and stuff like that. He's been looking good, but that layoff is really in the back of my head, like. And then I'm hearing that he got injured for the Crawford fight. That's why he didn't spar and stuff like that. So it's like those things are still lingering. It's still lingering in my brain. So it's like, I don't know. Tszyu's been active. He had a couple losses, but he's still been active, and that's going to be the bigger difference. The fact that he's been.
Paulie Malignaggi, breaking the fight down in detail, leaned slightly toward Tszyu, specifically because Spence's 3-year absence made him nearly impossible to accurately gauge. Malignaggi reiterated that Spence had been dropped by a jab in his last fight against Terence Crawford and pointed to Spence's recent car accident and retina surgery as further red flags about what he had left physically.
From Errol's perspective, I'm going to say it all the way into the fight. Errol hasn't fought in 3 years. I would need a crystal ball to know what kind of Errol is going to show up. We can speculate from here till next year. You know, Errol. I don't like the fact that Errol's in this fight with 3 years off. I don't. Or 2 years, at least 2 years. I don't even know if it's been 2 or 3 years. It's been a while. You know, and the fact. Yeah, and the fact that the last time he was in a ring, he got beaten from pillar to post. So I don't know. For me, I don't know what gets it done for Errol Spence. You know what I think is going to be? It's going to be the guy that shot less. Because both guys, Spence we haven't seen look totally shot against Crawford, but at least it was Crawford. Tim doesn't look the same, but he's won 2 solid fights in a row. But he doesn't look the same. But he's gotten the rounds and he's been active. If like I said, if Fenech can bring out the mentality that's needed in Tszyu, then combined with Tszyu's technical aspects of it, if he can find himself comfortable in this uncomfortable positions in a hot fight, in a high temperature fight, I think he can overcome Spence. Because again, Spence didn't look like Spence was dropped with a jab. Remember, Spence got knocked down with a jab from Crawford in that fight. Remember, that was 3 years ago. People maybe not realize just how shot Spence might be. You know. You have to keep that in perspective.
He was also skeptical about the timing of Tszyu's coaching change to Jeff Fenech so close to a defining fight, though he suggested Fenech's own history as a mentally tough, aggressive fighter could restore the killer instinct Malignaggi felt Tszyu had been missing recently.
And do you have any thoughts of Jeff Fenech as a trainer?
I think Jeff can be a motivator in the corner because Jeff was a mentally tough, strong fighter. And I think possibly that maybe what Tim is missing is the sort of go-getter attitude. He's technically good, but he's looked a little bit lackluster in his aggression of late, you know? So if I had to pick something that Tim may be able to work on a bit more, it's not so much his technique. I think he's technically very good, but his mentality in the ring, to be that destroyer, have that aggression. And I think with Fenech having had that history of having been mentally very strong and a tough guy, it may be the thing that he brings to the table for Tim Tszyu, you know, because that seems to be the thing that's missing for Tim Tszyu.
On Boxing Scene Today, Robert Garcia was openly skeptical of Spence, saying he personally believed, while hoping he was wrong, that Spence might not know what he had left after 3 years away. Personal struggles, including issues with drinking, a serious car accident, and multiple trainer changes, all raised further questions. Garcia pointed to the late adjustment of the fight's weight limit as a potential sign of trouble in camp.
I personally believe, and I hope I'm wrong, man, because he's a great person. But I personally believe, and I've been open about it, that if he took the Tim Tszyu fight after 3-year layoff and all his personal issues, maybe he's not sure what he's got left. Maybe he's not sure. And now that we hear that even the weight had to be moved a little bit higher, well, then that kind of tells me that there's been problems in camp, and maybe he's looking for a big payday and didn't want to take a chance on a tune-up fight, because obviously it's going to be for a lot less money, and he might not win that one either. So hopefully I'm wrong, man. I hope I'm wrong, because he's a great person and he was, one of the best fighters in the world.
Chris Algieri noted that Tszyu also carried real questions of his own, given his brutal knockout loss to Murtazaev and his stoppage defeat in the Fundora rematch, calling it a fight where the best version of Spence likely beat Tszyu comfortably, but where a genuinely diminished Spence against a resurgent Tszyu could go the other way entirely.
Tim Tszyu ain't no tune-up. Tim Tszyu is a very tough fighter, is a former world champion. He's been in with top flight guys. He has faltered recently. He's had a rough go before his last 2 wins. He took some bad losses, including a really bad knockout loss to Murtazaev, and also got stopped by Fundora in the rematch. So, you mentioned there's questions about Spence. There's questions about Tim, too.
Yeah.
I don't know where either one of these guys are, and at what level we get, what kind of competitiveness we see. Because, listen, the best version of Errol we see, I don't think Tim can do anything with that guy. But even an 80% Errol still might be good enough to beat a version of Tim that we saw. But if Errol is really degraded and Tim has had a resurgence, this could go completely the other way. It's a really, really hard fight.
Away from the analyst desks, the people actually preparing both fighters delivered a very different kind of confidence. Jeff Fenech, Tsyu's new trainer, told AFL 360 that he had believed since Tszyu was a baby that he would eventually surpass both himself and Kostya Tszyu as Australia's greatest fighter, and said the 8-week camp, split between Thailand and Melbourne, had been among the most rewarding stretches of his life, given how hard Tszyu trained.
Well, I'd said quite a few things that, I don't know, maybe Tim's team didn't really agree with, but then one day, out of the blue, I'd spoken to Tim all his life, since he's a baby. I'll just give you a little story that when he was 3 months old, he had tooth he could eat meat. So we travelled, and I've always watched him and thought, wow, this kid is going to be the greatest Aussie fighter. He will surpass me and his dad. So I've always thought that, and I still think that he's going to have the opportunity to do that. And I don't know, it was just, like I said, there was a lot of back and forward going on between me just saying what I believe. That's just me. If somebody asks me something, I just say what I feel. So I said that a few times. Then one day Tim approached me. We had a talk, and I've been in camp with him for just over 8 weeks now. It's been the most amazing 8 weeks of my life, watching this guy give 200% every day. He's gonna shock the world, and he's gonna do everything that I thought he'd do before.
No Limit CEO George Rose, greeting Spence at the airport, said Spence looked to be in great shape despite the 20-hour flight and predicted the small weight increase to a full 160-pound middleweight contest would allow fans to see the strongest versions of both fighters.
It's the first thing that I will say, coming off the back of 20 hours on a plane, he looks in great nick, and he's here to fight. He's here to fight. We're going to see a really solid Errol Spence Jr. next Sunday.
A few dramas around passports and stuff on the way. I read about that. What can you tell us about what happened there?
Yeah, look, nothing goes smoothly. Nothing goes smoothly, no matter how far out you plan, no matter how much work you put into it. When it comes to the moment where you've got to enter customs and the other processes, things don't always go to plan. So everything that's in our control, we can deliver on, but things that are out of our control, we just hold our breath and cross our fingers.
Yeah, obviously one of those that I guess would have been a conversation to control was the weight. Now it's at 160, official middleweight fight.
Yeah. Well, look, it is only 2 pounds up on what was agreed, and 2 pounds is pretty much a kilo. So, and not a lot different to what they had planned, but both teams have agreed, and they're they're going to be ready to go. The fact that there is that extra 2 pounds, I think you can guarantee that you will see the best, strongest versions of both Tim and Errol.
Rose also noted that Tszyu's increasing confidence and swagger heading into fight week left no doubt in his mind about Tszyu's mental and physical preparation.
What are you making of obviously Tim's preparations as well? I'm starting to feel the swing in favour of him a little bit, to be honest, and I think the heavier this fight gets, I know we only mentioned it's a kilo, but in boxing that's a lot, especially when he last campaigned at welterweight.
The pre-fight tension between the two men added another layer to the predictions. At their face-off, Spence declined to shake Tsyu's hand, later explaining it wasn't disrespect but frustration over Tsyu's comments, suggesting he would target his surgically repaired eye. Comments, Spence said, came after waiting 2 hours for a press conference that disrupted his own schedule.
Care to shake hands? I mean, that's not disrespectful at all. I just don't care to shake hands. We in a fight. Why shake hands for? I mean, he's been saying a lot of disrespectful stuff. I ain't saying nothing disrespectful to him. Been saying how you gonna, what do you say? He's gonna take my eye or something like that. So, so why would I shake his hand? He's saying all that I'm gonna lose the eye and stuff like that. Would he want to shake my hand if I say I'm gonna beat his ass to inch his life? I bet he wouldn't want to shake my hand, right? It's the same thing.
I think when I said that was after 2 hours of waiting, sitting there waiting for this guy to do a press conference, which I changed completely plans for. Of course I was frustrated, but the feeling is that I do want to do damage. I do want to go out there and unleash myself. That's
Tszyu, for his part, framed the fight as his chance to prove something bigger than a title, saying beating a fighter of Spence's caliber would mean more to his legacy than any belt.
Mentally and physically, I feel like I'm in a good space right now. I'm very grateful for life, very grateful to be in this position. I just can't wait to get it on. Beating someone to the caliber of Errol Spence, I think it's actually even bigger than winning a world title. That's what it's all about. I'm super confident in this fight. I wouldn't have been calling him out for this particular reason. If I had a glimmer of a possibility thinking that I was going to lose, I wouldn't do it. What's the point if you know?
Spence, meanwhile, repeatedly emphasized that he thrives in hostile road environments, drawing comparisons to his historic win over Kell Brook in the UK and calling the experience of disappointing a hostile hometown crowd one of his greatest motivations.
For Spence, charging into enemy territory is nothing new. In fact, an overseas excursion nearly a decade ago proved to be one of the truth's most historic performances.
I just want that same experience and that same feeling I got with the Kell Brook fight.
The best fighting the best, Kell Brook and Errol Spence.
Going to his home country and defeating him.
He's taking a knee.
In front of all his fans, it was more motivation than anything. I liked it a lot.
And the fight is over. Errol Spence Jr. has done it.
This is modern day, combat and war. Modern day Spartans. I'm going to somebody's hometown and his fans are gonna be booing me, saying all type of slurs, and you know, I think I get something out of that, just disappointing that many people and disappointing him in front of his fans. I think it'll be a great moment.
Taken together, the pre-fight consensus split roughly down predictable lines, and virtually everyone, regardless of who they pick, agreed on one thing. Given Spence's power and Tszyu's chin questions, alongside Tszyu's own recent knockout power and Spence's uncertain conditioning after the layoff, this fight was extremely unlikely to go the distance.